All right, folks, and if you missed me, I am back. Probably the longest drought of videos ever on this channel. I don't know, I didn't go back and check, but man, felt good to finally go on vacation and actually not work. I brought all my stuff, and I just felt like I needed that mental break. Well, I'm back and ready to go, and man, a lot of stuff to talk about. Before we dive into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. And in addition to that, just want to let you guys know that today's sponsor is Prize Picks, and they come at the right time because while NFL season is, clearly not going on right now, and MLB season is getting ready to go, and the NBA season is starting to get fun again now that Luka Doncic is with the Lakers. You can get in on the action using my code JKBogan. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. So be sure to dive into it. Again, Prize Picks, code JKBogan. Special thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. All right, so heavy stuff here, folks. Things have gotten kind of crazy since I left for Florida. Now I'm back from Florida. I'm in New York again. And yeah, let's dive into it. So I have a lot of people asking me, hey, Jay, can you make a video about Matthew Stafford? What went down? What can you say? What can't you say? Well, obviously, I'm not going to say what I can't say, okay? But I will give you the timeline here. So let's take it from the top. How did we get to where we are right now? Matthew Stafford reportedly decides to return to play football in 2025. However, there was never an announcement that he would be doing it with the Rams. We all kind of assumed it. I assumed, there were a lot of reporters that assumed that it would just work itself out. So now you have a lot of reporters after that saying coaches aren't stressing, about this at all. The expectation is he's going to be back, whatever. Then Davante Adams' report comes out that he wants to play on the West Coast and is open to the Rams, Chargers, and 49ers. Mainly the Rams, though. That was an interesting leak. Then, right after that, the Jets announced their intention to cut Aaron Rodgers. Are you following me? Aaron Rodgers immediately is reported to have interest in going to the Rams if they move on from Matthew Stafford. Stafford's agent, Jimmy Sexton, had started to shop around Stafford's value with other teams after the Rams agreed to such. Understand this. This doesn't always mean a player is being traded away or a player's gone, because the Ravens let Lamar Jackson do the same thing a couple years back, and he did ultimately end up going back to the Ravens. Well, now you have rumored teams such as the Giants, the Steelers, for whatever reason, the Vikings are the first team, on all betting odds and all that stuff. They're being in the mix, the Raiders, all sorts of teams, right? The Jets. But two teams have emerged as the favorites for Matthew Stafford, should he be traded: the New York Giants and the Vegas Raiders. Okay, keep in mind the teasing of the tweets that we talked about with Malik Neighbors. That was reported on this channel. We talked in depth about that. Some people said that was stupid. Why are you even covering it? Well, now here we are, and the Giants are one of the favorites to land Matthew Stafford. Today, Jordan Schultz reports that Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady met up and have had talks about bringing Matthew to Vegas. That also falls in line with what I've heard from multiple sources. In addition to that, falls in line with what Vinny Bonsinger, former Rams beat reporter, was saying, that Tom Brady and the Raiders had interest in bringing Stafford to Vegas. There is a growing kind of assumption here that this draft class, quarterback-wise, they don't have a lot of fans, okay? There's not a lot of fans in this class. You have teams like the Raiders and the Giants that are like, I want nothing to do with these rookies. Go out and get Matthew Stafford, who's going to be 37 years old. Currently, as it stands, I expect the following to happen. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, then you have no idea what I'm saying. This is going to be a total culture shock, shell shock, whatever, right? But bear with me. Matthew Stafford is going to be traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. That is based on how I feel right now, based on what I know. That is how I feel. That's my expectation. The Rams are likely going to receive some decent compensation. It is not going to include the number 6 pick, according to multiple sources. Unless it's a pick swap, we'll see, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be the number 6 pick. Aaron Rodgers, in turn, will be signing with the LA Rams. Devontae Adams will be joining him, and the Rams will move on entirely from now Matthew Stafford. I think Cooper Kupp would be a candidate to follow Stafford to the Raiders with the Rams, package him in that type of deal. I don't know. That's where we stand right now. How did we get there? It's exactly what I told you. Started off with a lot of these reporters kind of blowing it off, saying, yeah, the Rams aren't really worried. The coaching staff isn't really worried. Coaches aren't worried, all of that. And then it kind of turned into something way bigger. But how did we really get here? Those are just timelines as far as like we're talking about the headlines, right? How did we get here? And I think that's a very fair question to ask if you did back at home. So this is where I'm at. Barring an 11th hour move by the Rams, I've been told by multiple sources that Stafford and the Rams remain far apart in negotiations. Far apart. Like they're not close. And that's why this trade is even possible. That's why this trade is likely. I would never have suspected this. I am a believer in self-scouting. And I told you on multiple shows that there's no way Stafford's leaving. I gave it a 95% chance he was coming back. Then I started kind of lowering it as I heard more and more. Went down to 70, then to 60, then it was 51-49. And now I give it about a 1 to 2% chance he's back. That's what's happened. That is what has occurred. Doesn't mean, again, the 11th hour, the Rams can't come in and be like, you know what? You win, Stafford. We thought we had, obviously they're not going to say this, but you know, from their perspective, we thought we had some ammunition there. We thought we had some leverage when Aaron Rodgers became available. What we realized is that we can't do this thing without you. We were so close. We were 14 yards away. Let's run it back, and we're going to do it. We're going to get you that money. We'll run it back. That's kind of where they are. They kind of have to do that, or it's done. So what about Stafford? There's a lot of news out there. Stafford wants $50 million plus. He's only looking for money. He doesn't care about giving a discount. I have been told that's not the case. Again, multiple sourcing here because I'm not putting out anything where I just have one source on it, but multiple sources of mine have kind of let me know here that Stafford wants to be paid and respected, very similar to another guy who's right behind me. See the 99, Aaron Judge. He wants to be respected. He wants to be paid, but he's not looking to reset the market, and he's willing to take less money with the Rams than any team in, this whole negotiation process. So keep that in mind. He's willing to facilitate a move for the Rams, but you got to meet him, and they're not really meeting him right now. I wouldn't even say they're meeting him halfway. So the Rams have been firm in what they're looking for from him. They're not where they need to be. Should Stafford go to a different team, he's going to try and get that money that was reported, $50+ million. That's where it comes from. But make no mistake about it, he's not trying to reset the market. This should be done, okay? The Rams should do this. The fact that it's even gotten to this point is a little concerning. Now, I mentioned Aaron Judge behind me, the 99 jersey. The reason being, I know a lot of you are Dodgers fans and may not have followed this closely. But once upon a time, Aaron Judge, who's known as Mr. Yankee, and he's the captain of the Yankees, had about a 99.6% likelihood to sign with the San Francisco Giants. The Yankees came in at the 11th hour. The owner, Hal Steinbrenner, stepped up, showed they valued him, and they offered him the ability to be a captain. They gave him more money. Not as much money as, say, the Padres offered, and not as much as the Giants, but they gave him more money, and he was willing to come back. And that is what happened. There's about 0.4% chance he would be back with the Yankees. 0.4. So even worse odds than what Stafford has right now with the Rams, in my opinion. And again, this is my opinion. There are people out there that think Stafford will be back. There are people I really respect who are really into this thing that believe this is all just going to work out and Stafford will eventually return and the Rams will balk and they'll just be like, you know what? We really need you back. It is what it is. But there are other reports out there. Diana Rossini put out there that the Rams are going to try to drive up the price. That doesn't sound like a team that's trying to necessarily sign this guy. It sounds like a team that's trying to shop him. So yeah, I mean, if the Rams do that, they do what the Yankees did with Judge, and they give Stafford what he's looking for, I think he's back. But as it stands right now, it's very unlikely Matthew Stafford plays another down in a Rams uniform. And on my way back to, from Florida, we passed that Eagle Stadium. There's a good chance, that very, very, very good chance, that is the last place Matthew Stafford has played as an LA Ram, was that game. As painful as that ending is, it just became more painful, I think. So this is where I'm at, okay? My feeling and how this even came about, Stafford wanted this, the Rams wanted him to take significantly lower. Like I'm saying, the Rams wanted him to take less money than what you're even thinking, right? So they want him to take less. Stafford wanted more. They had the $5 million raise last year. He relinquished his guarantees this year, so he's under contract, but it's not a doable contract. He's not going to play on this with no guaranteed money. So they tried to work something out last year. It took a long time. It didn't really go anywhere. And the Rams were firm last offseason, I've been told. So that's the thing. Rams were firm last offseason. Things happened. Obviously, Stafford came back, never held out. This guy has been a model of consistency for the Rams. You take away 2022, he's only missed one football game for this team. So you can say what you will, and you can say that you're concerned about his health and him getting up there in age. Although, let's talk about the fact that Aaron Rodgers won the MVP at 37 and 38 years old back to back. So, age, it is just a number, especially when you're as talented as Stafford. You look as good as he did in the last game. But there has to be a respect here. And right now, for whatever reason, they're not meeting. I don't know exactly what is happening I'm not in the room with them. This is just what I've heard from sources that I trust. But right now, the Rams are really far apart, and Matthew Stafford's really far apart. And this thing is looking like a breakup. And, Matthew Stafford's going to end up playing his football with the Las Vegas Raiders, where they have $99 million in cap space. They have Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator, Tom Brady running the show. He's not the GM, but he's got a lot of pull there. And again, I think that it's a good spot for him should he leave the Rams. You're talking about in a dome. You're talking about Vegas, no state income tax. It makes a lot of sense. You're staying on the West Coast. You're not far away from LA. It makes sense. You're also in the AFC, and I don't think the Rams necessarily want to trade him to an NFC team and make their whole decision harder. But I really believe that the Rams have been really okay with moving on from Stafford since Aaron Rodgers became available. I think there has been an interest in Rodgers. There was an interest in Rodgers before Stafford. They tried to acquire him. The Packers would not trade him back in 2020 or 2021. And so here you are now, Aaron Rodgers, 41 years old, is available. And I'll tell you, we'll go into the tape and all of that in another video. But this guy is not washed like people will have you believe. 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 90-plus passer rating. A lot of Jets players really wanted him back. They're upset he's not coming back. This is a guy who's playing very well down the stretch. And the thing that's really telling to me is the last game of the year, when this team is clearly out of the playoff race, the season is just an absolute, catastrophe. And you look, this guy is balling out. So say what you will. And I prefer Matthew Stafford to be the quarterback under center. He's one of my absolute favorite players in football. He has been for quite a while, even before the Rams. But let's not act like, Aaron Rodgers can't do anything in this offense either. I think that this is a mistake. I'm not saying it's a mistake that will cost the Rams the Super Bowl or will put them into a dark age like some people are saying, because I know a lot of people dislike Aaron Rodgers. There is a reason why I brought up Aaron Rodgers as a potential option for the Rams early on before this even came to be, because I thought it was possible. But I do think that the Rams feel that they have leverage, because at this point, they don't feel like they need Stafford. They are okay pivoting to an Aaron Rodgers moving off Stafford now. And if, he's not willing to meet their demands, then they'll just trade him away and get more, draft capital, move off that, take Aaron Rodgers for, say, a year, and then draft their guy in 2026, which I do believe they intend on doing. It's going to be a 2026 draft pick. So that is how I would, put that all out there. It's going to be really interesting. The Rams in 2025, at least on the offensive side of the ball, are going to look a lot different without Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. Now, we'll get into another video. Another guy now is going to be potentially traded away. So it's getting interesting, but that's all I got for you guys. First video back, and it's a heavy one. It's an emotional one. It's one I really wish I didn't have to make, but again, you guys know I keep it straight on this channel. I'll always keep it real with you, and right now I'm just saying, don't get your hopes up. If you think number 9 is going to be back under center, great for you, but the numbers, the logic, everything I'm hearing, it's getting less likely by the day. My guess is within the next week or so, we'll get the alert that Matthew Stafford has been traded to Las Vegas Raiders for probably, some picks on day 2 and maybe a 2026 first-round pick conditional, depending on how much Stafford plays. But that's all I got for you guys. So hope you guys enjoyed as much as you could. Expect it right now. Aaron Rodgers is likely going to be under center for the Rams 2025. Again, things can change, but I'm not liking the looks of this, especially as somebody that absolutely loves Stafford and really wouldn't take any quarterback over him for the Rams in 2025. But that's going to do it. Be sure to check out today's sponsor, Prize Picks. JK Bogan is the code. We'll get you $50 instantly when we play at least a $5 lineup. And that's going to do it. But before I go, if you guys are big Laker fans, and I know some of you are, be sure to check out Downtown Lakers. It's my new channel I'm doing with Ethan Shirazi. We are going to be having our first episode on Friday, so would love to have you in for that. Be sure to check out the channel. The link is in the description below, and we'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the 9. So definitely check it out over on The Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.